Okay, in this video we're going to have a look at what we mean by proof by contradiction, or in Latin it's reductio ad absurdum. So what reductio ad absurdum means reduced to an absurdity. So proof in maths, proof is central to maths. It's what maths is all about. And if you asked a mathematician to describe maths in one word, they would probably say proof. So proof by contradiction is a method of proving something in maths. It's a method of proving a mathematical statement. And it is not the only method, but it is a very, very important method. So the way it works is we start by assuming the opposite of what we want to prove. So we want to prove something, but we start by assuming the opposite of what we want to prove. Then we find a contradiction in our argument. So we start by assuming the opposite. We find some kind of a contradiction or an absurdity, and this means that the assumption must be false. Because we found a contradiction or an absurdity, the assumption must be false, so the opposite of the assumption must be true. And that's how a proof by contradiction works. So let's have a look at a really simple example. So say we wanted to prove that it is raining outside. So we want to prove that it's raining outside. So we're going to do a proof by contradiction on that. So a PBC, proof by contradiction. So we start off by assuming the opposite. So we'll assume that it is not raining, the opposite, outside. Then what we'll do is we'll send someone outside. So we send someone outside. So here's the person we send outside. They're outside. Okay, then say we call the person inside. So we call that person inside. So we've assumed, remember, that it's not raining outside. But when we call that person inside, that person is wet. But that's a contradiction, because we assumed that it's not raining, but when they came back in, they were wet. So that's a contradiction in what we assumed. So our assumption now must be false. That our assumption was that it's not raining outside. So the opposite of our assumption must be true. That means it is raining outside. So we're after proving that it is raining outside. Just one side note. In maths, the symbol for a contradiction is like this lightning strike. It's a symbol for a contradiction. Let's have a look at another example. So we're going to have a look at this one where we've got an island called Idea Island. So all natives of Idea Island are either knights or liars. So there's two types of people on Idea Island. They're either knights or liars. Knights always tell the truth and liars always lie. And a person says, I am a liar. So we have to prove that he is not from Idea Island. So we're going to use a proof by contradiction. And to use a proof by contradiction here, we're going to assume the opposite. So we have to prove that he is not from Idea Island. So we'll use a proof by contradiction. So we will assume that he is from Idea Island. Just the opposite. Okay, so what does that mean? If he is from Idea Island, then he's either a knight or a liar. So let's say he's a knight. Let's say he is a knight. If he's a knight, then he always tells the truth, because knights always tell the truth. But he said, I'm a liar. So he mustn't be a knight. Be a knight. Okay, so let's say he's a liar. Let's say he is a liar. So if he's a liar, then, well, liars always lie, but this person said, I am a liar. But if he was a liar, he would have said, I am a knight. So that means he must not be a liar. So he must not be a liar. So we're after showing that he's not a knight, he's not a liar, but our assumption was that he is from Idea Island, but all natives of Idea Island are either knights or liars. So so he's not a knight or he's not a liar. That means that he can't be from Idea Island. So there's a contradiction. So we found a contradiction. So because we found a contradiction, what we assumed, this part up here, must be false. So we assume that he is from Idea Island. So the opposite of that must be true. So he must not be. Therefore, he must not be from Idea Island. So they're two really simple examples of a proof by contradiction. One where we're trying to prove that it is raining outside, and then the one with knights and lyres. But the most important thing about proof by contradiction is the way that we do it. We start by assuming the opposite of what we want to prove. We find a contradiction in our argument, and that means our assumption must be false, so the opposite must be true. So in the next video, I'm going to do a few more mathematical proofs using a proof by contradiction. And then if you have a look at the proof that the square root of 2 is an irrational number, that's also done by contradiction.